So I just want to take a moment to introduce myself for those who don't know me. Dr. Patricia Gerbarg. I am a psychiatrist. I did all of my training at Harvard Medical School, where I had a very good training, but of course in those days we didn't know anything in that field, or we didn't learn anything in formal training about mind-body practices. So all of this was very new to me, and fortunately, Dr. Brown, my husband, was able to convince me to take a look at it and get interested, and that was quite a few years ago. Since then, I've incorporated practices from mind-body techniques into my work with patients. I am a certified psychoanalyst, so I had very traditional training at the Boston Psychoanalytic Institute as well. And, Freud might be turning over in his grave to find out that, I've introduced some of my analytic patients to breathing practices, and it's been enormously helpful. I'm not going to go into those cases today, but whether you're doing, and I do now mostly shorter forms of treatment, short-term, long-term, it doesn't matter what kind of therapist you are. These practices are very user-friendly and can be incorporated into pretty much any treatment regimen that we and our colleagues have tried. They've been beneficial and they can be adapted. So hopefully each of you will find things here that you can use, whatever your work setting. Okay, we wanted to develop practices that would be easy for everybody to learn, that would be safe for everyone, and that would not cause adverse reactions. Okay, so this is what we've been working on. So let me just get settled here. We don't have any conflicts of interest regarding this presentation. Well, this is something we all run into, especially in the medical field. You've been fooling around with alternative medicines, haven't you? And of course, the doctor looks like a cadaver, and the patient looks the way you're all going to be feeling by the end of this weekend, we hope. So we're going to begin by stress. Everybody has stress. We all know stress is the root of many of our psychological and physical problems. And there are many sources of stress, whether it's worrying about the future, family problems, finances, overwork, too many family responsibilities, and so forth, aging, illness. Anybody here who has not got any stress whatsoever? Okay, that's generally what I find. So we can't get rid of stress altogether. We have to learn how to function in our stressful world. The autonomic nervous system controls all the automatic functions of the body, and it has two main branches. So the sympathetic part of the nervous system has both the approach and avoidance components, and that's the part, for example, when there's danger and we have to prepare to cope with it. It'll speed up the heart rate, it'll speed up our respiratory rate, it'll put our stomach in a knot, and many other things which are good for survival. But if it keeps going that way for too long, it begins to cause damage to the system, and it's balanced by the parasympathetic system. Now, the main pathway for the parasympathetic system is through the vagal nerves, okay? And these are two large nerves. They're actually the 10th cranial nerves. They come out of the brainstem and down through the body, and they go and wander all through the body, down through the diaphragm into the abdominal cavity. The vagus nerves send branches into all the internal organs and tissues of the body. Okay? So it's a very important system that up until about 15 years ago was really neglected in terms of research. But we know it's very important now. More and more we're finding not only is it involved in regulating the organs, it actually is very much involved in emotion regulation. And we believe this will be the key to learning how to better deal with the problems of emotion dysregulation. If we can get the vagal nerve to help us and do what needs to be done, we stand a much better chance. Coherent breathing, which is what you've been learning today, is breathing at about 12 seconds total duration of the breath, which means about 5 breaths per minute. with 6 seconds inhalation and 6 seconds exhalation. The reason that we use this rate is because it's been shown to produce the optimal sympathovagal balance, okay, and many other good things, but mainly it's the ideal balance between the sympathetic and parasympathetic system happens at this breath rate. As you saw, you maximize your heart rate variability. Now, the actual range is probably between 4.5 and 6 breaths per minute, but since around average 5, everyone benefits, that's why we use that rate.